Thank you guys for joining us here for another segment here on the Sit Down with Malik Wright, presented by First Star Logistics. In this video, we'll be discussing Fred VanVleet. Fred VanVleet recently declined his player option, meaning he will be a free agent this summer. My co-host, as always, and I will be discussing where Fred VanVleet will be landing. And Evan, I've got to kick this over to you, man. Fred VanVleet, where do you see him going? He's declining his option for the Raptors. I see a couple of fits for him that make sense.
Mhm.
One of them could be in Boston. One of them could be in LA. I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are on this.
So you I think you hit the nail on the head there, man, because when I look at Fred VanVleet and I'm talking about what are you getting from this guy right now? You're getting a veteran presence. Guy's going to be 29, so he's still in his prime. You're getting playmaking. You're getting shooting.
Mhm.
You're getting defense. Averages almost 2 steals a game in the last 4 seasons, shooting 37% from 3 over his career. Was top 15 in assists, steals, and three-pointers last season. Um, this is a guy who can affect all those areas of the game. And Fred VanVleet is what you wanted Boston Celtics fans Kemba Walker to be.
Wait, so you made him this entire time I was calling him Fred VanVleet. Is Fred VanVleet.
Vleet.
Wow. That's
I
crazy.
mean, depending on how big the baggie is, you can call him Fred Van Fleece, but we'll see what happens with that. But
You're so
he
corny.
he he can be what you wanted Kyrie Irving to be. He can be what you wanted Kemba Walker to be. He can be that guy who comes out there, knocks down three-pointers, can run the offense and facilitate things. When how many times, man, in this playoffs with these Celtics did you feel things stagnate? Did you feel
Mhm.
people kind of taking turns, kind of moving around a little bit? Van Vliet will have everybody on their P's and Q's. He will have more structure with that. And part of that is coaching, of course, and growing there too. But that's kind of I feel like he fits so well with what they have. They're a win now team. He gets an opportunity to compete for a championship with already established stars to play beside in Jason Tatum. And we'll see what happens with Jalen Brown. But the rest of the team is very solid. I think that would be a great option for him. I know everyone's always going to say the Lakers and kind of throw out the championship appeal and stuff, but I really feel like, especially if the Jalen Brown stuff kind of crumbles, I feel like Van Vliet is a good pivot that won't cost you as much as Jalen Brown, but still maybe put your team in a better place because of how
Mhm.
structured you are and how he uplifts everyone else around him.
I agree. I'm gonna throw you for a loop a little bit. What if, like, let's put yourself in Fred Van Vliet's shoes, right? Maybe he gives a call to his old buddy, Kyle Lowry, and he asks him, "What is Miami like? What is it like playing for Heat culture? What is it
Talk
like
dirty to
playing
me,
with
Malik. Talk
Jimmy
dirty.
when it so what is it like playing with Jimmy Butler?" Because one can make the case that Fred Van Vliet could be exactly what the Miami Heat thought that they might be getting out of Kyle Lowry when they made that trade. You get a younger guy at point guard, a guy that, can still be a playmaker for you, that can also alleviate some of the stresses put upon Jimmy Butler.
Mhm.
And he's a guy that, to be honest with you, the Miami Heat can afford right now.
Yeah,
So if you think about it, maybe Fred Van Fleet, maybe Freddie V joins Jimmy B in Miami.
I think he fits their culture. Now, let me, of course, being I'm a Heat fan, but I'm going to play devil's advocate for you
Uh-huh.
right there. Now, let's say that together, okay? So we got Fred Van Vliet, we got Jimmy Butler, and we got Bam Adebayo. Did you just make the Atlanta Hawks 2.0 with Jeff Teague, Paul Millsap, and Al Horford there? Like, I feel like that's like the crew of very good, right? Like, do you feel like that's well? I guess that's another thing now is are you going to be able to make superstar teams
Well, here,
with what's coming with the CBA? Are you going to have the money to do that anymore?
here's the way I see it.
Mhm. Not to
Right
say I don't
now,
love that team. I
right
do.
right now, the team that they have
Right.
is a team of okay guys that work hard, guys that try hard, and guys that fit the
Overachieve.
system. Right.
Yes.
You put a you put Jimmy Butler in a situation where he has guys around him that can truly elevate
Mhm.
their game, like a Fred Van Vliet, like a Tyler Hero, I guess, like a Bam Adebayo. I think you're cooking with that, man. And I think that team wins you a lot of games. And I think like I never got the sense that this Miami Heat, maybe the hype is what they don't need, right? Maybe that's kind of like their MO, what works for them, flying under the radar, people quietly, writing them off. But maybe with Fred Van Vliet, Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, that team not only gets the buzz around them, but that's enough to make noise. Because I still think even with an addition of Fred VanVleet, you still won't see this team being looked at or talked about as a team that can come out of the East still.
Mhm.
Because people will just think, oh, it's not enough. I genuinely think that. But if you ask me, I think it could be enough.
I think so too. I didn't mean to just besmirch any of those players or anything. It
Yeah,
was
no,
just
for sure,
something that popped into my head that was funny.
But you have to ask yourself, right?
Right.
Because I think Gabe Vincent's going to get paid this summer.
Good for him.
Good, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Good for him. And I think that
Thank you for your service.
Right. Gabe Vincent to me is a liability on defense. He gets abused on defense. He gets in foul trouble quite often. However, someone out there is going to say, you know what? I'm going to pay for that. Listen, sorry to throw rocks at your team, but your team overpaid for Duncan Robinson.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
we've seen
100%.
teams go out there and they've overspend on some guys. There's going to be
you paid him 3-and-D shooter.
Right.
You paid him 3-and-D price without the D.
Right. Now, like what's going to stop the what's going to stop a team like the Spurs from going out there trying to acquire Gabe Vincent, saying, "Hey, we want to match you up with Wemby on our team." What's going to stop a team? I don't think any true contending team is going to go out there and pay for Gabe Vincent, but I think you could certainly see a team that's on the up and up, or they need a superstar, not a superstar, or a guy that they perceive that as a star who has that pedigree of being a part of a championship and being a starting point guard for a team.
You're that grizzled veteran with a group of young guys who can show them what to do.
Right.
He's been there before, that kind of deal. Yeah.
And I can certainly see some team going out there saying, you know what, we want Gabe Vincent on our team. I don't think Miami is going to splurge on him or try to keep him in that regards. Yeah, it's tough.
I kind of try to, like, not necessarily in play style, but in terms of like role you're asking for, a Jay Crowder type deal, where you're just like, hey, this is a guy who's kind of floating around out there from every couple of years, and you can sign who is going to come down and knock down 30% of his threes, depending on how good it goes, and then what else you get from him is great.
There's a couple of guys like that are going to get themselves paid this offseason. Bruce Brown's going to get himself paid this offseason. And I've always been a big fan of Bruce Brown, but not even trying to make the topic on him. But yeah, I think Gabe Vincent is going to go out there and get himself in a situation where he's going to get the bag, to be honest with you. He's going to get the bag for some team. He made himself a lot of money this offseason, and good for him. As you said, good for him. Danny, what are your thoughts?
I like the Lakers. I think the Lakers are definitely the best option for him. Besides the Miami Heat, I think he fits the Miami Heat's mold of, what they want to do. And he fits, what can potentially take them to the next level, because we've seen a guy like Gabe Vincent who couldn't do it. We've seen a guy like Kyle Lowry who's too old, is like just aren't quite all there. But when I look at the Los Angeles Lakers, I think that it fits what they want to do, especially look at D'Angelo Russell. What happened in the playoffs? He got absolutely cooked on defense. There was nothing there for him. So when I look at what he could potentially bring, he brings in a veteran. He brings in a guy that can bring the ball up the court. He brings him a floor general. He brings him a guy that can take the pressure off of LeBron James. And he's a guy that can get hot too. He can get hot from three. So maybe you move off of some of those guys like, the Dennis Schroeders, you move off the guys like the D'Angelo Russells, and you bring in a veteran like Fred VanVleet. I like the Lakers. I like the Heat. And as a Celtics fan, I want him on the Celtics, but yeah.
But if you ask me, I think that's Kyrie Irving's spot. I'll keep saying it. I think Kyrie Irving's going to be a Laker. And I don't see how he's not going to be.
I think Fred VanVleet's going to wait till the Kyrie Irving domino drops.
I will bet anybody Kyrie Irving is going to be a Los Angeles Laker. I'm willing to bet he will be. The guy has shown everything in his power that he wants to be, regardless of what we think about it, right? He wants to be in Los Angeles. He's requested a trade to Los Angeles several times now. Now he's in the offseason where he gets a chance to pick his destination. He's going to pick the Los Angeles Lakers. He's going to go back with LeBron James. He's not going to stay in Dallas. I think that report that came out about LeBron joining Dallas is more about Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka making a play for Kyrie Irving if they are not, if they're kind of dragging their feet. And I think that, this is the best opportunity. I would be absolutely shocked, floored, astonished if Kyrie Irving is not a Los Angeles Laker by the time free agency ends. I'd be shocked. But going back to Fred VanVleet, I think once that domino drops, I think it'll allow Fred VanVleet to pick where he wants to be. And I just feel like Miami's the spot.
He fits real well there, man.
Oh my God. I just thought of a team.
Who?
The Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets. What about the Brooklyn Nets?
So you got VanVleet, you got Mikal Bridges.
Yeah.
Dinwiddie.
Then is
Dinwiddie's
that where
a
you
free
start?
agent.
He's a
Is
free
that
agent.
your kind of your building
Yeah.
point? Is you say,
Yeah.
hey, that's gonna
I'm
be
pretty
our,
sure. Let
so
me
you say
double check.
Mikal and VanVleet are gonna be our 2, and then we're gonna God, I love Mikal. God, I love Mikal, and I want to put that kind of faith in him.
I like
really-
Fred. I like Fred.
He
on the
turned it on
Nets.
this year. Is it unfair to Fred to call him the new Kyle Lowry, where he's 29 and he can play good defense, he can get the assists, he can knock down the 3-pointers, he can be your floor general. Not current, Kyle Lowry, but
No, completely. And that's where I would even go a step further, and I would say that Fred VanVleet, because the Nets, I'm not gonna say they contended this year, but they made a huge push at the end of the year. And they're a team that they're on the up and up. So VanVleet would get the money with them because they're not paying anybody massive contracts yet. And he's got potential. They're a potential contender in the East.
Yeah.
I mean, Claxton's solid.
Yeah.
I like. I mean, all right, yeah. If you start being like, okay, VanVleet, Claxton, Mikal, all right, you got some. You're starting to cook a little bit, but you definitely need to fill in some.
A lot, yeah.
I feel like you're still like you still need a heavy hitter in there, unless Mikal can really continue to take that step forward. He looks so good this year,
so good
this year,
and I think he's going to continue to shine in a role where he's not, where his value isn't pretty much brought down by other stars.
Cameron Johnson looked good in flashes too, man.
Yeah?
He had a couple games here and there. Yeah,
the guy's a baller. I like a couple of their guys too. They have a backup point guard. Is it Cam Thomas?
Cam Thomas, backup shooting guard.
Yeah, shooting guard.
Mhm.
I like that guy. I like that
There
guy a
you
lot.
go.
And Spencer Dinwiddie is in a free agent until the following year. So he will still be on the roster this year, but he could play either guard spot. I mean, like it's fine.
And Mikal can be the 3.
Yeah. So like I don't know. I like that for them a lot. I think it could make a lot of sense, and I think that Fred VanVleet might want to go to a team where listen. I think Miami, Brooklyn. His best options to me might be staying in the West. It might be staying in the East. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I think so.
Yeah, like that's what I think. That's just my thought process. If you guys like more video content like this, make sure you guys give this video a like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Turn on post notifications so you guys don't miss when we upload a video.